Hello, welcome to the notes for Lines and Angles on September 11th, 2018. Please copy these notes onto your handout. They will be checked when I return on Monday the 17th for a score of 5 points. The same thing will be true of our other 3 days this week, and so it will be a 20-point assignment for you. Make sure you listen to the notes carefully and copy everything down onto your handout. Well, let's start out with some fairly familiar terms here. First off, parallel lines are two lines in the same plane. That do not intersect, do not meet. Now some examples in the picture on the side, line AD, top left line, does not intersect with line BC, the top right line. And also we could say line BF, the line that's at the front right edge, does not intersect line AE. And these are just a couple different pairs of parallel lines in this figure of a rectangular solid. Now skew lines are two lines that do not intersect, but are not in the same plane. So they're not on the same flat surface. An example here would be line AE and AE is on the front surface, so I need to choose something like line BC, which is the top right edge. So the the left front edge and the top right edge do not intersect. Another example would be something like AD and, oh, let's go BF. Remember my line symbol, arrow with two lines on it. Now parallel planes are two planes that do not intersect. And an example in this particular picture, remember we named planes by using 3 points on the plane, so ABC, which would be the plane at the top of the box. And that's going to be parallel to plane, oh, FGH would be the bottom of the box. Those two planes don't intersect. Notice I could not say the top of the box and the right side because the top and the right side intersect on this line. So two planes do not intersect. Now some other familiar words for us. In this particular picture, we have two different types of angles we've discussed so far. We have vertical angles. In this particular picture, vertical angles are angles 1 and 2 are vertical, and also angles 3 and 4 in this picture are vertical. If they're numbered differently, it's not always going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then the other type of angle we have in this picture are linear pairs. There are two angles that are side by side, and their other two sides form a line. So we have four linear pairs here, angle 1 and angle 3. Angle 3 and angle 2. Angle 2 and angle 4. And I'll leave the last one for you to add into your notes. So vertical angles and linear pairs are types of angles that we've seen happen when two lines intersect. Now, we're going to come to a situation where we have more than two lines intersecting. We have something called a transversal. Transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So in this particular case, in this diagram, line T is a transversal. Why? Because it intersects two lines. It intersects lines L and M, which is what makes it a transversal. Just simply a line that intersects two other lines. And notice that those two lines have an area between them called the interior, and there's parts that are outside of the two other lines, and that particular area is called exterior. We are going to be using the adjectives interior and exterior to describe some angles. So for example, in this particular picture, angles 3 and 4 and angles 5 and 6 would be called interior angles. Likewise, in this case, angles 1 and 2 and angles 8 and 7 are what we call exterior angles. So anytime we have a transversal, we're going to have some interior angles and exterior angles. Interior simply means between the two lines. Exterior means outside the two lines. Turning your paper over, we now have some definitions of different types of angles. So in this case, our transversal is R. And our two lines are M and N. They have an interior. And then the exterior is on the two other sides of the angle, of the lines, excuse me. Now the first term, alternate interior angles, means we want two angles that are in the interior, and they have to be on alternate or opposite sides of the transversal. So we look at this picture, the transversal travels through here. And so angle 2 and angle 6 would be on opposite sides or alternate sides in the interior. So angle 2 and angle 6 are an example of alternate interior. Likewise, angle 7 and angle 3 would also be alternate interior angles. Same side interior are going to be two angles that are on the same side in the interior. So they have to be in the interior on the same side. So here we're looking at 8 and 3. So angle 8 and angle 3 are on the same side, and they're also in the interior. They're between the two parallels. They're between the two lines. And they're inside on the same side. They're both on the top of the transversal. Can you name the other same side interior angles here? If you said angle 7 and angle 6, you named them correctly. Our other type of angle is alternate exterior. So here we're looking alternate means on opposite sides of the transversal, and exterior means outside of the two lines. So in this case, let me circle them. There's one there, angle 4, and the other one is over here, angle 8. So angle 4 and angle 8 are alternate exterior. The other alternate exterior in this case would be the two remaining angles outside. So angle 1 and angle 5 are alternate exterior angles. And then finally, corresponding angles. You can think of corresponding as same position. So in this little intersection over here on the left, angle 1 is in the top left corner. So if we go to the other intersection and look in the top left, we see angle 3. So angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. They're in the same position. What angle is in the same position as angle 2? Angle 2 is in the top right. So also in the top right is angle 4. What angle is in the same position as angle 8? Angle 8 matches angle 6. Then the final pair of corresponding angles would be the ones that are left. Angle 7 is in the bottom right, and angle 5 is also in the bottom right. So corresponding angles, there are going to be 4 pairs of them, means they're in the same position. So if you think of it as a traffic intersection, the top left corner with the top left corner, the bottom right with the bottom right. Okay, let's check to see what you know. Take a few moments and go through these. Identify the types of angles that you see here. Are they corresponding, alternate exterior, or same side interior? You're comparing X and Y. Which would you classify each one as? Hit pause, answer the questions, and when you're done, select play. Welcome back. Here are the answers you should get. This first one is alternate exterior. The second one, the one in the middle, they're both in the bottom right-hand corner of the intersection. So that makes them corresponding. On the next one, they're both inside the 2 lines, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So that's alternate interior. On the next one, they're both outside the 2 lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So that makes them alternate exterior because they are outside and on opposite sides of the transversal. They're both on the left and the right, and they're both outside the interior area. This next one, they're both on the same side and they're both in the interior. So they're same side interior. Now each of these angles, tomorrow we'll find out the special relationship that they have. Here we have same side interior again. Just like linear pairs add up to 180 degrees all the time, each of these are going to have some special relationship all the time. So thanks for taking the notes. Put your Chromebook away, see the substitute, and you will receive a worksheet that will practice seeing if you can identify different types of angles, parallel and skew lines, and things that we talked about in this video. Talk to you tomorrow.